Ben Rortvedt had received gifts before. Equipment from sponsors. Bonuses from contracts. The kind of material rewards that accumulate naturally over the course of a professional baseball career and eventually stop feeling like anything at all. But when Shohei Ohtani walked toward him holding his own personal bat, the same bat that had made contact with some of the most important pitches of the season, and his own game-worn uniform, Ben Rortvedt did not feel like a professional athlete receiving a gift from a teammate. He felt like a man being handed something sacred. And then Ohtani began to speak. In English. Deliberately. Carefully. Word by word, in a language he continues to work at every single day, because for Shohei Ohtani, according to multiple sources within the Dodgers organization, speaking directly to the people he cares about is important enough to do in their language, even when it is not his own. What he said to Ben Rortvedt in that moment, according to everyone who witnessed it, was something that no one in that room will forget for the rest of their lives. And it was only the beginning. To understand the full weight of everything that unfolded between Shohei Ohtani and Ben Rortvedt over these extraordinary weeks, you first have to understand what kind of relationship had been quietly building between these two men since the moment Rortvedt signed his 4-year contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. From the outside, they appear to be an unlikely pair. Ohtani is the most famous baseball player on the planet, a generational talent whose every move is documented, analyzed, and discussed across multiple continents simultaneously. Rortvedt is something different. He is a catcher who has built his reputation not on spectacle but on substance. On the kind of quiet, indispensable work that wins the trust of pitchers and coaches long before it ever wins the attention of cameras. But according to multiple sources within the Dodgers organization, the connection between these two men formed quickly and ran deeper than most people inside the facility had anticipated. It has been reported that from his earliest days with the team, Rortvedt made a specific and deliberate effort to understand Ohtani, not just as a pitcher or a hitter, but as a person. As a competitor. As someone whose approach to the game could teach him things that years of professional experience had not yet revealed. And Ohtani, according to those who observed their developing dynamic, had noticed. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of the events leading up to the most significant moments between these two men, the foundation of everything that followed was built not inside Dodger Stadium but in a private phone call that took place weeks before anyone fully understood what it meant. Ben Rortvedt has since revealed, in the careful, measured way that he reveals anything personal, that Ohtani called him directly. Not through an intermediary. Not through an agent or a team official or any of the organizational channels that typically mediate communication between players of such different statures. Ohtani called him personally. It has been reported that the call lasted considerably longer than anyone familiar with Ohtani's famously private nature would have expected. According to those close to Rortvedt, he described the experience afterward as disorienting in the best possible sense, because Ohtani did not call to discuss logistics or mechanics or anything related to their professional responsibilities on the field. He called, according to multiple sources, to ask questions. About Rortvedt's life. About his family. About the journey that had brought him to this particular point in his career and what it meant to him personally, not professionally, but personally, to have arrived at the Los Angeles Dodgers after everything he had been through. According to those close to Rortvedt, he had not been prepared for that conversation. He had expected the call to be brief, professional, and focused on baseball. Instead, he found himself speaking honestly and at length with a man he had not yet met in person about things he rarely discussed with anyone outside his closest circle. By the time the call ended, according to multiple sources, Rortvedt sat quietly for several minutes before saying anything to the people around him. What he eventually said, according to those present, was simple. He said that he already felt like he knew him. The moment Ohtani presented Ben Rortvedt with his personal bat and game-worn uniform did not happen on a stage. It did not happen at a press conference or a scheduled team event or any kind of organized ceremony. According to multiple sources who were present, it happened in the clubhouse. Quietly. At a moment that Ohtani had clearly chosen with the same intentionality he brings to every decision he makes, before enough people were present to turn it into a performance, but after enough people had arrived to serve as witnesses to something he wanted acknowledged. It has been reported that Ohtani approached Rortvedt directly, holding both items. According to those present, he did not build toward it. He did not offer extended preamble or create theatrical anticipation. He simply walked to where Rortvedt was standing, held out the bat and the uniform, and waited for Rortvedt to take them. And then he spoke. In English. According to multiple sources who were in that clubhouse, the decision to speak in English was not accidental and was not casual. Ohtani is known within the organization for being extraordinarily precise about communication, about choosing the right words in the right language for the right moment. And the choice to address Rortvedt directly, in Rortvedt's own language, without the buffer of interpretation or translation, was itself a statement before a single word had been delivered. What followed, according to everyone present, was a speech that no one had anticipated and that no one was fully prepared for. It has been reported that Ohtani spoke about what it means to trust the person behind the plate. About how a catcher is not simply a defensive position or a game-calling responsibility, but a relationship. A form of communication that happens in real time, under pressure, with no margin for misunderstanding. And about how the trust he had developed in Rortvedt over their relatively short time as teammates was something he did not take lightly and did not give easily. According to multiple sources, he told Rortvedt, in front of their teammates, in the careful and deliberate English he had chosen specifically for this moment, that wearing the same uniform meant something to him. That the bat he was giving was not a souvenir. It was a symbol of the partnership he believed they were building. And that he wanted Rortvedt to have it because he wanted him to understand, beyond any possible doubt, that he was trusted. According to those present, no one in that clubhouse spoke while Ohtani was talking. And when he finished, the silence continued for several seconds before anyone could find a response. What happened at the dinner that followed in the coming days added yet another layer to a story that had already exceeded anything anyone had expected when Rortvedt first signed his contract. According to multiple sources familiar with the details of that evening, Ohtani extended an invitation to Rortvedt that went significantly further than a standard team dinner or a between-teammates meal at a restaurant. He invited Rortvedt to dinner with his family. This, according to those familiar with Ohtani's personal life and the extreme privacy with which he guards it, was not a routine occurrence. Ohtani is known within baseball circles for maintaining a careful and deliberate boundary between his professional life and the people closest to him. The number of teammates who have been welcomed into that space, according to multiple sources, is very small. Rortvedt, apparently, had become one of them. It has been reported that the dinner was warm, unhurried, and entirely unlike the high-profile public settings that typically surround anything involving Shohei Ohtani. According to those with knowledge of the evening, Rortvedt arrived with the quiet attentiveness he brings to every unfamiliar situation, observing, listening, being careful not to overstep in a space that was deeply personal to his host. But it was what happened partway through the dinner that, according to multiple sources, transformed the entire evening into something that neither man will likely discuss publicly for a very long time. According to those familiar with the account, Rortvedt suddenly, without warning, without any apparent external trigger, lowered his head. He bowed it deeply in the direction of Ohtani. And he apologized. According to multiple sources with knowledge of what transpired at that dinner table, the room went completely still the moment Rortvedt bowed his head. What he was apologizing for has not been fully confirmed publicly. The specific content of what he said remains, according to those present, something that both men have chosen to keep between themselves and the small number of people who were in that room. But according to multiple sources familiar with the broader context of their relationship and the events of the preceding weeks, the apology was genuine, heartfelt, and entirely unexpected, including, according to those present, by Ohtani himself. It has been reported that Ohtani's response was immediate. He did not let the moment become heavy or uncomfortable. According to those present, he reached across the table, placed his hand on Rortvedt's arm, and spoke, quietly and directly, in a way that made clear the apology had been heard, accepted, and that nothing between them had been damaged. According to multiple sources, what followed was a long silence that felt, to everyone in the room, not like tension but like resolution. Like two people arriving, together, at a place of genuine understanding. The story of Shohei Ohtani and Ben Rortvedt is still being written. There will be more games. More moments behind the plate. More pitches called and signals exchanged in the fraction of a second language that only a catcher and his pitcher truly understand. But according to multiple sources who have witnessed the extraordinary series of events that have unfolded between these two men, the phone call, the bat, the uniform, the speech delivered in careful English, the family dinner, and the bow that no one saw coming, what has already happened between them goes far beyond baseball. A phone call became a foundation. A gift became a declaration. A dinner became a moment of grace that neither man had planned and neither will forget. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, Ben Rortvedt stopped being a new Dodger, finding his footing in an unfamiliar place. He became, according to those who know this team best, exactly where he was always supposed to be,